I'm a very big fan about films where dead people have to go back to Earth, and I thought Earth Angel would completely be one of those films that I fell in love with, but unfortunately it really was not good, and there were a lot of things about it that I just did not like. That's not to say there weren't positives, because the cast is pretty incredible, and we'll look at the cast in a moment. I'll read the narrative, the plot description from IMDb, but there are no spoilers in this, and there won't be any spoilers throughout, so if you do want to watch it, I can confirm it's currently available on Amazon Prime. The description is as follows. When a prom queen dies in 1962, her only means of entering heaven is by returning to Earth in 1990 to assist friends from her youth. So first of all, I thought having that contrast of 1962 and 1990 would be quite interesting. This was released in 1991, by the way, and I think they did build up the 60s quite well in the beginning. I think maybe the first 20 minutes are set in the 60s, give or take, and it felt realistic, it felt believable. The music was very loud. I don't know what it was. Apparently the version on Prime is like a remastered version, so I'm not sure if they messed up the audio, but the music in the background was actually in the foreground, and that caused a lot of irritation for me. But it's pretty decent. It's set on a prom night, and our protagonist Angela dies and becomes an angel, and then she finds out that she must go to 1990s to help somebody. She doesn't know exactly what her mission is to begin with, so she has to kind of find out what that is, and that's slightly interesting because we have the build-up of kind of trying to work out what that is. Unfortunately, the narrative is not that exciting. I thought the contrast would be really interesting to watch, but it just isn't. I don't really see why they bothered giving her nearly 3 decades to, in fact maybe 3 decades exactly, just under 3 decades to find her mission. There was no joy in the contrast between her 1960s attitude and the, at the time, contemporary 90s. So that just didn't add anything. I also have to say, Angela chewed chewing gum through the entire thing. And yes, it gave her that, I don't care, I'm not interested in education, I'm laid back attitude. But when you have to watch somebody chewing gum for an hour and a half, it's horrible. It's really disgusting, and I found that to be really irritating. She's played by Cathy Podewell, and the actual performance, I saw nothing wrong with it. I didn't think it was bad acting. I don't think anybody gave bad acting. I just think it's a really bad narrative with some really bad direction. If somebody says chew gum for an hour and a half, you can guarantee I'm not going to watch that film if I knew about it in advance. As I said though, there were certain cast members who made this watchable. The first one, and certainly the most important one for me, is Rainbow Harvest. I loved her in Mirror Mirror, and I was very excited to see that she was in this. She plays Cindy. She's in it a lot. She still looks like Winona Ryder, and she was great. I loved her. Mark Hamill is also in it, who gives a very good performance. Roddy McDowall's in it. That's about it from me. But you know, Rainbow Harvest made this absolutely brilliant. Well, that's a stretch. It wasn't absolutely brilliant, but she made it enjoyable because I really like her performance. So I have no real complaints there. But in terms of the film, I thought the narrative really let itself down. Angela is a character, I've only just realised she's called Angela. Angela. No. As a character, she was irritating. I didn't like her. I didn't care about her outcome. I didn't care if she managed to succeed in her mission. Kind of don't want to say that I was glad she died, but I had no emotions for her at all. It's not a good film. I wouldn't recommend it. If you do like films like I do about people who die and then have to go back to Earth, I'd say give it a go. But if it's not particularly a plot device that you look out for ordinarily, then I'd say give it a miss. It's not great.